You ready?
On.
You ready? You ready? Ready?
All right. I am 100% ready to start this. For the first time ever.
Alrighty, guys. And with that intro, as lovely as it was, I am Laz Rahikin, and
it's Luxboo.
We are coming at you with what I believe is our 9th Let's Discuss episode. And this time around, we are talking about a game called Frostpunk, right?
Right you are, Ken.
Right you are, Ken. So, before we dive really deep into the game, I thought it would be a good idea for us to talk about what the description is of the game. Well, actually, rewind that. Rewind. So, when we are recording this right now, obviously we are coming in from the wake of E3, and as we all know, we saw some stellar previews of some games. I think this year could be pretty darn kick-ass in terms of some of the development that we've seen and some of the previews we saw. It honestly looks like maybe some of the bigger guys are going to promise us some really decent games. And
oh yeah, especially after getting called out so hard last year.
Yeah.
All on a bunch of shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, hopefully they can turn it around. Hopefully they've seen that the audience has spoken and that we are looking for some new stuff. I would go so far to say that does seem apparent. But let's not forget about the games that were... So obviously we heard about some pretty big games there, but let's not forget about the games that weren't announced there but would still get you excited for some upcoming releases. And that game is a game called Frostpunk. Now, Frostpunk, as the description of the game says, in an ultimately frozen world, people develop steam-powered technology to oppose the overwhelming cold. The city ruler has to manage both the inhabitants and the infrastructure the citizens live in. Leaders' technical skills face challenges, frequently questioning morality and the basic foundation of what we consider an organized society. Here, optimization and resource management often clash with empathy and thoughtful decision-making. While city and society management consume most of the ruler's time, at some point, exploration of the outside world is necessary to understand its history and present state.
Can I try?
Yeah, go.
In an ultimately frozen world, people develop steam-powered technology to oppose overwhelming cold.
Okay. How'd that sound? That
actually sounded pretty decent. You did it better than me. I'll give it to you.
Okay, cool.
We could put you on some movie credits.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you could send me a copy of that so I can put it in my portfolio, that'd be great.
All right, I'll do that. I'll give you a soundbite. But,
all right, cool.
All right, from now on, you will be the one giving the game descriptions. That was a much stronger performance than my own. So, as we said with our double rendition of the description of the game, what we're looking at here with the game called Frostpunk is a society survival game, which is a little bit different than what we've maybe seen in the past with our many numerous survival cousins.
Right you are, Ken. Just kidding. Yeah, I mean, it's really taking a mix of right now really popular genres and for all intents and purposes genres that I'm really enjoying. It's taking society management, it's taking resource management, and what's the third one?
And society, resource,
exploration.
City builder, or
city builder, yeah. Growing up, I've even enjoyed all those kind of games, and the first one that comes to mind is Majesty for like PC back in the 90s. Like that game was a complete. Literally a city building simulation. I think it was even advertised in its own slogan. So it's really nice that it's taking all of these different parts and putting it together into one genre. Because the one thing that has really been going on a lot lately is you will get either survival or you'll just get a game focused on resource management or just city building. You don't really get a mix and a match of all three of them. And when you do, it's kind of like a really high level, not too deep kind of game. So I'm really hoping that this game is not only going to deliver on all three, and mesh them perfectly, but I really hope that it delivers a lot of depth in terms of their steam-powered technology to oppose the overwhelming cold.
I agree. And the developer behind this game is 11-Bit Studios. And if that name rings a bell, they are the same guys who brought us This War of Mine. And in This War of Mine, it was not only about survival, but just like in how they have for Frostpunk, frequently questioning morality. And that's something you do a lot in This War of Mine. You know, you can break into old people's homes, steal their stuff, maybe even kill them if you want them to, if you really want to. But it has an effect on your characters, and I am hoping to see something like that as well in this game, where, you know, the choices you make as the city ruler kind of has a butterfly effect. You know, it has a rippling effect across all the different parts of your society. And so I think if we can see something like that, then we're going to be encountering a very, very unique survival type of game.
Yeah, and you know, the last thing I want to speak to is the first sentence, in an ultimately frozen world, or
In an ultimately frozen world.
If I remember correctly, when I played The Forest, and I loved the shit out of that game, I played it like crazy. Then shortly after that, Savage Lands came out, which is basically the same thing, different elements, but it's also in a frozen world. And just that alone, there was a completely new element to it that made it very difficult. So, and if I play games like RimWorld, when it hits wintertime, shit hits the fan always. And in this game, we're not going to be, you know, I wouldn't expect for this game to be forgiving. In a frozen world, I would expect the game to be very difficult. So, I would not look for this game to be like one that you could just breeze through, even on something an easy difficulty setting if it has that.
Yeah, I have to agree with that. Obviously, a very common trend amongst all survival games is that when the cold comes, it is not a good thing. And so if you are perpetually living in it, I think that's going to add a whole different element in terms of what survival truly means.
Yeah.
So I think that's all we have, though, for tonight, guys. The website itself for the game is sadly quite short. I mean, the game doesn't even have a official release date yet. All they have is second half of 2017, and who knows if that's going to happen. I mean, we are already in basically the second half of 2017, so
19 days in.
19 days in. So we'll see if 11-Bit Studios can live up to their promise. But even if they don't, I will still be just as excited about this game.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to get the bugs out. You got to make sure you got everything. Yeah. Don't release something not finished and all that. Yada yada yada.
Right. Good things.
That should already know.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's Guild. We're waiting on Guild 3 still.
Still waiting on Guild 3. Still waiting. We will stay waiting. But alrighty, guys. I think that's all we have for tonight. So as always, I'm Last Rahikan and
Luxboo and
happy gaming gamers.